for one sprite. Take this. I'll go back up. I want to get, let me go into people. And then I'll select the ballerina. So I've selected ballerina. We all have ballerina. Anybody without ballerina? Nobody. Okay. So next step, create a script which allows the sprite to bounce up and down on the trampoline. Add another sprite. Hello everybody. If you need a question, you can talk to me. If you have a question, you can talk to me. Am I too fast? So I need your contributions now. I need ideas. This fourth step says we should create a script which allows the sprite to bounce up and down on the trampoline. So it should work something like this. This sprite should be going up and down on this trampoline, right? That is what our code should do. So any ideas on how to achieve this? Everyone stop clicking your mouse. Pause at this point. Talk to me. I'll be doing everything you want me to do. I need you to tell me which blocks I should bring in here. What's your name? Michael. If I'm talking and we say we should stop clicking mouse or talking keyword and you do it, you have to stand up. That's the culture. It's a reward system. Is that okay? Alright. So let's figure out, we did some lessons in earlier. How can we make this go up and down like this? Let's say I just want to press the space key and I want it to be bouncing. Which block should I use? Okay, you guys are murmuring. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, I should go to control. Then, okay. Then what? Sorry? Okay, space. Okay. Move 10 steps. Move 10 steps. Move 10 steps. What direction would this take my sprite to? What direction would this block take my sprite to? Right. Do I want to go right? No. Change y by 10. Where will I put it? Up. Down where? Under here. So here. Okay. Then, okay, down arrow. Okay. Change y by minus 10. Like this?
Yes.
Okay, so I have to be doing this. Huh?
No.
Is that what we're saying? Okay, I should go to control. Repeat. This one. Where will I put this? Both of them. Okay, so I'll put this one and then I'll put this one here too. Okay, so now I'll do up and down. I should put forever. Okay, wait, before we put forever or whatever block you want. Now we have said that when I press up arrow, it should repeat 10 times and change y by 10, right? So if I click up arrow, it's going up, right? For it to come down, I'll press down arrow again. But I don't want to do this. I want that anytime I press the space key, let it start jumping up and down. Motion. What do we need in motion now? If on edge bounce, well, we are not even getting to the edge, so just leave this one out of this for now. Okay, this is the case. This is our case now. Up arrow is doing exactly what I want it to do. It's making the lady jump up, and down arrow is bringing her down, right? But I'm going to help you guys here. But I don't want to use the arrow keys. I don't want to be doing this up and down. I want it to keep doing it itself. So I want to press space key, then to just start going up and down. You understand? Now look at these two. Let me just take these ones out, the ones you don't need. Then I'll make space here. If I bring these two together and I click on the block so that they execute like this, can you see? The lady is jumping, right? So I don't need to put up arrow or down arrow to make it work. Now I can just change this to space and attach like this, right? But we need one more thing. Forever. Where will I put forever? Where will I put it? In between or both? Which one are we saying? Both of them? Like this? Okay. So this is good. So ballerina is now bouncing on our trampoline. So this is how you should approach problems. Take them one step at a time. First, we figured out how to make it go up. We figured out how to make it come down, right? Then we repeated it a number of times before we join the blocks together and then just attach it to one event. All right, so one more thing before we do what we have on the board. When you want to start your code, make sure it always starts with this event. What you have in control. That's either when green flag click, which is clicking on the block or clicking on this green flag to execute, or when space key press. By the way, space key has different things, right? We have all the arrow keys and then we have letters. So whatever you choose. But any of these event blocks, these first three, make sure that you want to start your program with them whenever you're starting. All right. So you can complete the code on your own computer too before we move on. I don't know where this continues to. I don't know where it's showing. Since I will just change the account because it's not coming. But I have access to it. This one is just showing me the case. Okay. This one. My file is not coming. Even when I go to the profile, it's not even showing me. I don't know. Maybe we should keep trying. Yeah. Or is it actually? I'm sure maybe people will know it. I'm not sure. I've really been trying this thing. Um, it's once I make mistake to log out now, I can't really remember the password. Yeah, add another sprite. If you're done with the one sprite, add another sprite and make it jump on its own. Add a second sprite. But for the second sprite, make it jump slowly. Let it be slower than the first one. And you know how to make a sprite do something slowly already. just making her wait for a longer time. It's not jumping slower. Think of the way you can make the other sprite jump slower. Recall the steps you took for the first sprite to make it jump up and down. And use movement steps to go to the right. You need it to go up and down, not left and right. Check the code for the first one. Okay. So obviously, when you have multiple sprites, you won't see all the code in one place. Hello? So if you have another sprite and you want to check the code for that sprite, just click on it here. It will show you the script. So if I want to see the code for this ballerina, I'll click on it. It will show me the script here. So if you're on one script, you want to recall the code you use for the other script, just click on that sprite. But it's the concept you use here that you use for the new sprite. Just that this time you need to figure out how it will be jumping slower. You have to change y by 10 and change y by 10. Switch properly. Use left. That's for that. Exactly. So you don't have a really jump also the next one. So how do you make it jump really when I think the same idea means you got just in case from that of course not just for 1 second. I don't think there's a So it's not just a slower, it's just a I need you to jump slowly and then come back slowly. I can see some people have figured out how to make it jump slower. You have the same thing. So this other one is not jumping slower. I hope you know. She's not jumping slower. She's just waiting. When she jumps up and down, she just waits before she jumps again. I want the other side to actually jump slower and then come back slowly. Jump up slowly and come back slowly. Not jump up fast and come back down, then wait. Let it take a piece like Are we all done? So, of course, when we add another sprite, so just like we did with the first sprite, when space key press, repeat, change y by 10, repeat again, change y by minus 10, then this forever. But our challenge now is that one sprite should be jumping slower than the other one. So we use this block for each of them. So when it is going up, let it be slow. When it is coming down, let it also be slow. So delay with 1 second to jump up and down. So this guy will take his time before he goes down. Okay. So I think 1 second is too much to wait. So I'm going to change this to something like 0.2 and this one to 0.2. So of course the second sprite now is slower. When you add a weight to a block, it slows it down, slows the process down in its execution. Does anybody need help? Nobody. You need help? Have they all done it? Okay. Alright, so if you're done, hello everybody. Is she done? Okay, once you're done, you can save your work. So stop the script, save it as lesson 1, challenge time 2. This is lesson 1, challenge time 2. When you're saved, start a new project. File new. All together. Okay, so let's move on. Still on lesson 1. Alright, I said to save, your text should look like mine. Lesson 1, challenge time. 2, like this. This is the convention we're using to save our files. The lesson number, like this, and then the challenge time. Can we move on? Okay. After challenge time 2 is the ultimate challenge. For the ultimate challenge, step 1 says open a new scratch project. You have done this. Step 2 says select an underwater background. So let's see how we can select background. So click on stage. Save your stuff and start a new one. We have moved ahead. Click on stage, then click on background here. The tab here says background. So click on import from here. Import. So now we want an underwater. We'll go to nature. Scroll down. You see underwater here. Click on it and click OK. Again, I'll start again. For those of us that need, look up, everybody. Click on stage, right? When you click on stage, click on backgrounds here. When you click background, you see these buttons: paint, import, camera. Click on import. So just as you select sprite, it shows you this folder. Then use nature. Click on nature. Are we together? Then go down, scroll down. You see a background that says underwater. Select underwater and click OK. Your background now should change, right? Okay. So a cat cannot live underwater, so we are going to delete the cat because we don't want cat underwater. No cat. Okay. So let's go back to our instructions and see what is next. Okay, we've done this. Step 3 says select some underwater sprites. So go ahead and select at least 2. We know underwater sprites, right? Okay. So you can select the octopus, you can select fish, you can select shark, whatever you find. Let me see, what do I have? Crab. Crab and underwater animal. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Fish. A lot of fish there. A lot of fishes. Starfish. I'll select starfish. And I'll select the word. Have we selected two? You have not selected, so wait for me. If I don't hear wait for me, I'll just move ahead. Oh. Okay, so the next part is something we've done before. Step 4 says using different types of movement, create an underwater animation. Step 5 says have your sprite move left, right, up, and down. So this is what you're going to do for me. We've already done this before, so this should be fairly simple for all of us. I want one of your sprites to move left and right. Let it keep swimming left and right, while your second sprite will be going up and down on the screen. Are we together? And I want them to start at the same time. At the same time. One go left and right, the other one go up and down. Is it clear? Can we do it? All right. So this time we are not using the arrow keys to make it go left and right. I just want you to start. Once I press your space bar, one of your sprites should move left and right, the other one should go up and down. We've done exercises like that before. If you have any questions, forward them to me. I'll do my best to answer you. Please be creative. Don't just take my word for what I say you should do. Add some things, change some numbers, see the effect of those things. And then I would love to see your work. Be creative. creative. See what you have. See what you can come up with. I don't know which one is here. Yes, be creative, add some things, try something new. I want that when I see your work, I want to see something different, something good, you know. So be creative, think of something you can implement in what you have, so that your own will look different, different from others. Yours should be unique. Please do something different.
What is happening on this one is question. We have upper review. So I want both of them to start with this space. Not for one to start with upper review, the other one to start with another different. You understand? Change this to space. Or you want both of them to start with upper review. Recall your lessons. We have something to show them. Okay, so you're repeating 0.6. 0.6 times. That means it's less than 1. Are you trying to make it go slower? So, please for you to go slower. This should be okay. The 0.6 is here. So when you're doing up, this makes it go up. When you're doing up, let it slow down the way. When it's coming down, let it slow down the way. If not done, when you call it space, you can see it's nearly a number of times but sure. So this was the other one. So there's only distinction right? That's this one should go. So you're saying this one should change by 0. This should be what should change by 0. This way. You see it should change by 0.8. It's very tiny. That's why it's always going up and not coming down. You understand? So it is changing right by 10. Then it's changing right again for it to come down to 0. What do we use when we want this square to come down? So we use minus because coming down is negative. So it's minus 4. Now, this will be our square this one. So this is it's going up and down, right? It's no longer not going up and going up. So maybe what you want to do is that 0.2. So you want it to, when it is going up, let it do you understand? And once it's going up and waiting like this, you want it to be sensitive. This part is making it go up, this part is making it come down. Right? So start to you change this to left hand, but you want this is called the space. This is the space part. So from here, when you select this and select space, you're telling your space that whenever you click this, then you start. Understand? Now you press 20 because this is what you space. Or if you left arrow there, it means it's this one. You understand? Make one go left and right. Both of them should not be going up and down. One should go up down, one should go left right. The other one should go left and right, not up and down. Okay, I don't see a word. Okay, we should be rounding up. We should be rounding up on this one. So when we will start doing that, are you bouncing on this? No, no. Why do you think doing that? The other one should go left and right. The other one should go up and down. Any of them. Okay. They are both going up and down. One should go left and right. Hurry up, let's stand up on this one and move on. Let's move to the next thing. Are we all done? Okay. So somebody look at my star. Look at what my star is doing. Do any of you have something like this? Any idea on how it is bouncing? Huh? Hello? Hello? Superstars. Any idea on how this is bouncing? I said each of our work should be unique. I can see somebody added a turn to his own, but the rest were more or less something similar to everybody's own.
So this was what I was expecting. By the way, um, when your sprite is moving up or moving down, it just goes in one direction. But this is actually going in a wavy direction, going up and down and going left and right at the same time. So it's not just going up and down, it's not just going left and right, it's doing both. Go up and right, come down and right. Keep doing that. So if you look at my script, I'm both going right and then going up at the same time. When I'm done with going up and right, I still go to the right, but I come down. So this is kind of giving a bounce effect. So it's going up and down, just bouncing for the star. For the other sprite is different. But that's what the star is doing. Anyway, good job everybody. So let's save this one. This is our lesson 1 ultimate challenge. Ultimate challenge. Lesson 1 ultimate challenge. If you have never saved before, if you click on save, it should show you the stuff. Or if you have saved before and you click on save, it will replace your work. So save this as lesson 1 ultimate challenge. Ultimate challenge. You're done, click on OK. Save. Okay. Once you save, start a new file, a new project. File and new. So now we'll move to lesson 2 because this is the end of lesson 1. Lesson 2 title says in the jungle. In the jungle. So here we would use X and Y coordinates to move sprites on the stage, to create an animation incorporating movements and images. Create an animation of a natural habitat. Okay, so we'll learn how to use the glide block. To glide down, you will need to experiment with positions on the X and Y axis. Observe the x and y coordinates changing on the bottom right of the stage. Try to move the sprite to 0, 0. Okay, so let's just play around to know what the x and y axis is. So on your scratch, sorry, if you've noticed at the bottom right corner here by the stage, you see your x and y changing, right? So wherever your mouse is, you see the x and y. Anybody knows what this x and y mean? And somebody have what? Axis. Can you explain axis to me? Hmm? I think you talked about x and y earlier. So can anybody tell me what's the concept of x and y? Minus and plus. In what direction? Just right and left. Height and width. Okay. Have you watched movies where they create a simulation that they are trying to see somebody on the map and they show different numbers changing, then they keep zooming on the person and then show that he's in Nigeria or in America on the map. So the map uses something called the longitude and latitude, and that is essentially like our x and y. So x and y is basically used for positioning, but they are using positioning of what we call the coordinates. So you see something like this in math. Sorry for the people that don't like math. We actually need this so that you understand what we are doing here, right? So you see something like this where they call this the x, and then this one they call it y. Are we together? So the movement from very wrong here. This should be y, and this should be x. Very wrong here. So this is y, this is x. So the movement from up to down is referred to as y. Anywhere in this world, even if you go to France and you tell them the y-axis, they know that you're talking about this. Tell them the x-axis, they know you're talking about this. Are we together? So stay with me. Now, wherever the sprite is positioned on this stage, we will see the exact x and y of the sprite. Are we together? So let's assume this is our sprite here. Right? Let's assume this is our sprite. Now, the reason why this is very important is because we can know the exact position of our sprite by knowing the x and the y. If we don't know the x and y, then we cannot know the position of the sprite. Are we together? Now, look at it this way again. Anytime you are going up or going right, it's positive. Before I get to that, this very middle position is saying that both x and y are starting at 0. Are we together? Okay. Now, it's starting at 0, but by the time you start going to the right of x, it's positive. What can I put plus? Let me put plus here. If you start going to the right, it's positive. But if you start from 0 on x and you start going to the left, it's what? Negative. Now, at the same point, if you start going up from 0, this is positive. But if you start going down, it's negative. So, up and right positive, down and left negative. Are we together? So, let's imagine, and again, the positioning are in numbers, just like you see here, minus 32 and minus 110, right? So, if you start going up, we add the number, right? So let's assume this place, the highest point here is 200. This place is 200 too. This is the highest number you can get. This is minus 200. And this is minus 200. So these are the lowest that you can go, these are the highest. Now, to get the particular position of this guy, we have to get a particular value at x, a particular value at y, and then we'll know the very position. Right? I mean, since the numbers tell us how far right or how far up or how far down we can go. So let's say this point is like what now? 80. And then this point is like let's say 100. So by the time I combine this line along with this line, I can know the exact position of my sprite. Are we together? That's the concept of X and Y. This is the same concept they use in movies when they tell you that there is a hacker that is trying to hack a phone and they say the phone is in Lagos. You understand? It's the same thing. You just use coordinates to get that position. Okay. So this is the same reason why we have blocks like change Y by 10. If you want it to go down, we say change Y by what? Minus 10 because it's going down. If it's going to the left, we say move minus 10 steps. If it's going to the right, we say move 10 steps. Are we together? You understand this concept, right? Okay. So there are a lot of exercises you'll be doing with this, and you're going to need a lot of time. But keep this at the back of your mind because you're going to need it a lot. So anytime you're moving your sprite here, or moving your mouse for that reason, you see the numbers change. This is what I want you to do. Move your sprite, hold your sprite and move it. Then make it stop at 0, 0. So y should be 0, x should be 0. Move it till you see x at 0 and y at 0. Keep moving it till you get 0, 0. Tell me when you get to 0, 0 so that I'll come and see. Got it. Get to 0, 0. We haven't gotten the first person yet. Anyway, I'm the first person. Let's celebrate him. Yes, get to 0, 0. Find 0, 0. You've gotten x0, so how do you find y0? Bring it down. Okay, we have the second 0, 0 and the first. Jesse is our second 0, 0. So when you get to 0, 0, you see that the sprite is perfectly at the middle, at the center of the screen. Okay, hold on a minute. Nathaniel, stop pressing. Yeah, this one too should be 0. Sorry? If we spread we need to take it to back 0, 0. Click on it and drag. Yes. So find 0, 0. 0, 0 is around this point. So x is 0, then y. So when you see it's negative, it means you have to go up for it to increase. Y to as yes, but at least you know where x is, right? Now is to find y. So you need to move it up. We have 3 people aside me. Jesse, Nathaniel, and Petrus. Okay, Ben has gotten 0, 0. If you're not sure where it is, just try to get to the middle of the screen. Try to position it at the center. Okay, you're almost there. You're almost there. No, I have 3 o'clock. I'm going to spend them Okay, guys. Okay, guys. I can see some people are very keen on getting this 00. Why is 00 hard to find? You're getting it? Okay. Okay. So I will allow you to try and get 00 afterwards. But for now, let me just show you how to get this coordinate. I think they are very keen on getting this 0. So not touch that.
So how many of us have gotten the 0? You have gotten 0 hands up? Okay. So very few persons have gotten 0, right? Okay. So we're going to see how this glide block works, right? Remember we from the description, right, of how the positioning works. Are we together? Hello. So from the description of how positioning works, we said we can actually use our x and then our y coordinate to get a certain position of our spread. Is that correct? Okay, so there's a block that I'm going to show us right now, and with that block, we can actually use this block to set our spread to go to a certain position, to glide to a certain position, right? Okay, so let's go to Scratch. Okay, are we all here? So you see this glide block, right? Are we here?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why, okay, so let's forget about the reason why it is 00 for now. So everybody drag this glide block out. Have we done this? So for those of you that are struggling to get 00, your x, what's your x? Yeah? Make your x 0 and then make your y 0. Have we done that? So by the time you do that, just click on the block and then tell me what happens. Huh? So what happens when you set it to 00? It goes to the center, right? Does everybody has his own on the center? Hmm? Okay, so I will be able to position it down to the center. So how many of us have our sprite now in the center? Let me see your hands up. If you don't have your own at the center, say wait for me. Okay, so we're waiting for some people. So how many of us have been able to glide to the center? If you've been able to glide to the center, let me see your hands up. Okay, we still have two persons down there. So if you're not there, say wait for me. If you're not there, say wait for me so that I can help you. Are you there? So you see, we don't have to manually drag it to the center, right? And you can see how a lot of us struggle with positioning our sprite in the center. So this glide block helps us to accurately position it to any place on the screen that we want to. So what it implies is this. I want to quickly show us something here. Let me show us something on the board. Where's marker? So for those of us that were struggling to have our sprite at the center, we've been able to see how to quickly use the glide, right? So at this point here, where is it 0, 0, right? This, we all agree that this is our x-axis, right? And we said anywhere in the world, this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis. Are we together? So the reason why we're using 0, 0 to position that guy in the center is because right here, our x here is what? At this point here, our x is what? Is 0, right? Are we together? And our y is also what? 0. So at this point where they all meet, this our x and y axis meet, they are all 0. Are we together? So that is why we are using 0, 0 there to position our sprite. Are we together? Okay, so if we want to position this our sprite to this place now, what can we do? So we have to know the x coordinate here, right? And also the y coordinate of this to get this. So let us say here is 100, right? So we can have our x here. X can be what? 100, right? And then our y is 80, right? So that is to say, if we use we're using our glide, if we want to use our glide, by the time we enter x 100, just so we have it there, and then also enter y 100, we're going to have this guy here. Are we together? Do we agree? Don't worry, if you do not agree, I will show you how it works. Okay. So right now we have it in the middle, right? So what if we want to move it down to up to this place? So you can see as I move my sprite, the coordinate change, right? So what do we have here? You can drag your sprite and then bring it here. We have x to be what? 142, right? And then y is what? 52. Are we together? Okay. So if you update this block right now with 142, let's make this 142 and see. 142, and then this is what? Let's put 52, right? Okay, so I'll bring this guy back here. So by the time I click on this guy, can you see it has moved to the new position? So we can use the glide block to send our sprite to a particular location on the screen. Do we get that? Okay. Is there anyone that is not with us? If you're not with us, say wait for me. If you're not with us, say wait for me. So we're all together, right? Okay, somebody said no. If you're not with us, let me see your hands up. If you're not with us, put your hands up. Are we all together? Are we all together? If you're not with us, say wait for me. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to add some control to this glide. So if you notice, for this sprite to glide to this particular position, I had to click on the block to make it move, right? So I don't want to do that. Where's my pointer? Okay, so I don't want to do that. So we can add some control to it. We can choose to glide, or let's use when space key is pressed. So when space key is pressed, we want to glide to this position so we can have this together. So when you click on the, you see it glides to that position, right? Okay, so to make this interesting, we can decide, okay, by the time we press the space key, you should move to this position, right? Then this position, and then we can just move it around, have it glide around the screen. Are we together? Can anyone tell me how we can do that? So right now we're able to glide to just one position, right? But right now I don't want you to stop at this position. I want you to also move to this position. And then maybe return back to this position and then stop. So can anyone tell me how to do that? Anyone? Remember, there are no wrong answers in this class. So anything you say is okay. If it's not correct, we will all correct them together. Okay, so it seems no one has an idea, right? Okay, so these we're able to get this from here, right? So while I drag my sprite to this position, we're able to see the coordinates, right? So the thing is, what if I don't want to manually enter these coordinates to the glide? So one thing I can do is this. By the time it glides to this position, it was here, right? So by the time it glides to this position here, I want it to still come down to this position here. So one thing we will do is, instead of manually updating our glide every time, we can drag our sprite to the new position that we want it to go to, right? And then we can double click. You can double click on it. So I am currently on what? 120.
Take your sprite to the new position and do.
So I'm currently on 126, right? So I've taken it to the new position. So when you take it to the new position, double click on it. Have we done that? So by the time you double click on it, you notice that this your glide block has updated to the new position. Can you see that? By the time you double click on the glide, you see that it has updated to the new position. So over here, I'm having 142. That is for my x-axis. And then y-axis, I'm having what? 52. So having dragged it to the new position here, you can see my new position is what? X is what? 124. And then my y is what? -9. So are we all here? So you can see that my glide block has automatically updated to the new one, right? So I can decide to add a wait for 1 second. We can glide to this position, wait for 1 second, and then we glide to the new position. Are we together? So when I press my space key, it's going to glide to the first position that we set it to, and then the new position. So in case you didn't understand, you didn't follow up with how I got the second position, I'm going to do the one for the third position right now. Are we together? So by the time we're starting from here, right? Look up. Everybody look up. We're starting from here, right? So from here we're going here, right? And then from here we're coming down to this place, right? Okay, so in case you missed out, you didn't really follow up with how I was able to pick up this coordinate. By the time we go from here to this place and then here, we want to come back here. Are we together? So to do that, I'm going to drag my sprite here, right? So by the time I drag it here, I also want to glide back to this position. So we double click on it.
Make sure you double click and the X and Y update. If not,
So when you double click, the X and Y will change, the values here will change. So instead of manually typing it, instead of just manually typing it, I want to just update it by double clicking on the sprite while it's in that position that I want it to go to. Are we together? If you're not with us, say wait for me. If you're not with us, say wait for me. So we're waiting for one person. Okay. So we're all good, right? So now that we are here, right, we've been able to get these coordinates updated here. So let's drag this here and then we'll wait for another 1 second. And then we go back. So if we notice, we're not actually going back to the same place because I moved my sprite and it has shifted a little bit from where we actually started, but then it will be around the same place. So when we press the space key, it glides to the first position and then comes back. Does everybody have this? Huh? Is anyone having a different result? Huh? Who is having a different result? So what did you do? Put your hands up so that I can help you. Who else is having a different result? If you're having a different result, put your hands up. So when I press my space key and then back.
copying his numbers. You have a minus 134. Yours is 134.
So you should not copy my numbers. I've shown you how to get the coordinate, right? By right clicking on the sprite on that position, and then it will update the motion block. That's the glide 2. So let's look up. Are we done? Okay. So do we notice that we don't need some blocks here? Do we? Huh? Do we notice that we don't need some blocks here? So we are used to what? We are used to the wait for 1 second, right? And that is why I added this here. But what this implies is so what this block does is going to glide 1 second to this position, right? Wait for another 1 second, and then glide to this next position, glides to 1 second, right? So let us play around with this glide this time in here and then see what happens. So what's the difference between this glide, this 1 second that we have here, and then this wait 1 second? Huh? Can anyone tell me the difference between the glide 1 second that we have and then wait 1 second?
Depends. You wait 1 second, you wait because like the next.
Okay. So the glide 1 second will what? The wait 1 second will wait for 1 second before it glides to the next position. So what does the glide 1 second do? Okay, so can we make it 0.5 seconds and see what happens? So change the glide 1 second to glide 0.5 seconds and let's see what happens. It is what? So the difference now, we've seen the difference, right? One wait makes the sprite wait before it glides to the next position, and one determines how fast, right, it moves. So we're having a challenge, and challenge time 1, we're going to select 2 bed sprites, and we're advised to be as creative as possible. We're going to choose a suitable background, and then we'll use the glide to make the sprite move across the screen. I believe this is very simple, right? We know how to add sprites. We've done this in a previous lesson, and we also know how to choose background. And I just showed us how to use the glide block to move our sprites across the screen. So I'll give you 5 minutes to quickly do that, and then we'll come back and do it together. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Choose 2 bird sprites. 2 birds.
2 bed
Then
sprites.
change the background to somewhere that birds exist. A trees with trees or the sky or something. Then make the birds glide to different positions. Yes. Just save this as lesson 2 and
Yeah.
start a new one.
Save the one we just did, that is the glide block, the one I just showed you now. Save it as lesson 2. Then you start a new one. When you are done, we save it together. I believe we all know how to save now, and we know the convention, how we spell everything and how we arrange everything.
Just lesson two. Before we start the lesson two, challenge time one.
So when you are done saving, start a new scratch project. Are we all on a new project? Are we on a new project? If you are not on a new project, say wait for me. If you are not on a new project, say wait for me. So quickly save that, save it as lesson 2, and then start a new project. If you need my help, please call me. So you choose 2 beds. By the time you are not choosing those 2 beds, they should also what? They should be in a background where beds exist, right? You don't want to have your bed be in the water. Your bed will die now, have it? So select a background where those beds can live, right? So I want to see beds in the water. Yes, you should delete the cat sprite, okay? You don't need that. Are we going to consider a butterfly as a bed? Eh? I can see some people have selected the butterfly. Okay. So I'll also select my bed sprite as well.
can click on
Okay. So if your sprite is too big, you can reduce it.
so this when the sprite is too big.
If your sprite is too big, you can reduce it. So, so if your sprite is too big, you just look up. Okay. Okay. So can you see this grow sprite? Can you see this grow sprite? Hello, look up. Can you see this? So if I click on this, and then I can use this to grow my sprite. And if I want to make it smaller, the next one says what? Shrink sprite. So I can select this and then make
You
it,
keep clicking on it.
you keep clicking on it
You keep reducing.
to keep reducing.
You get to the size that you want. Then
Are we together? Huh? Okay.
The other one, yes, and one is quite equal. Okay, I want to go up now. This goes to maybe where you get the price. You get the price. You say you want to change background, click on stage, then click background, make it work. Because of it. But you guys see this. So from here, look for your background targets and then you adjust it. So this is the price. This is not the background.
So Anna, are we good? Are we good? Sonia, are we good?
So your background, yeah, that's why you're changing background. You need come back and because background.
So I want to believe we'll be able to select two bed spread, right? And then we choose a suitable background. So by the time you are done selecting your background, you use the glide to make the sprite move across the screen. Then you change the glide time and see what happens.
Where you get your background, not from there. now we want to which one? Select you connect. So if you select the block, this is where your background stage one. How do you like?
So if you're on your background, you see that your script area will be different. And if you're still on background and then you leave it there, you see background, you don't see costumes. If you want to write scripts, make sure it's on a sprite, not on a background.
So if you are here, if you are currently on stage, right, you notice that the script area is different, right? So right now we don't want to make the background look like where we want to write our script is on the sprite. So if you are here, ensure that you've selected the sprite. So by the time you've selected the sprite, you are going to see this, right? And then ensure that it's not on costume or sound. It should be on script.
Pay attention to what they're showing.
So this is where
Some of
you write your
the same questions about this.
your plots. So if you are here, by the time you selected your sprite, you must have gone to background to select a new background, right? So you shouldn't write your script here where your stage is selected. You shouldn't write it here. For some of you might discover you are here, right? So what you want to do is before you start writing or before you start building your script, make sure you have selected that particular sprite. Right now the stage is what I have selected. So as soon as I click this, as soon as you click this, this is what you have, right? You're going to see sound, costume,